Retailers led the declines across the stock market Wednesday, with Target being the worst performer in the S&P 500, dropping 24% after the company said that its costs for shipping were higher than expected and had hurt its earnings.
Even though they had more sales, people are going to the stores more. The costs for Target are really increasing very fast.
Shopping giant Walmart sounded similar alarm bells earlier in the week when it reported that its profits had fallen 25% from a year ago.
They are also having trouble with their profits because of inflation that they are feeling. They're making much less money, way less money, like worse than Wall Street thought.
All this taking a toll on markets Wednesday, the Dow plunging more than 1,100 points in its biggest one-day drop since 2020. The S&P 500 lost 4%, and the Nasdaq hit even worse, falling nearly 5%. Inflation is hitting everyday people as well, with prices at the pump still rising. The cost of a gallon of regular now at another all-time high today, nearly $4.59, and it's over $4 a gallon in every state. In Philadelphia, gas prices crossing the $5 mark in multiple locations.
Everything's just getting too high. Food, gas, everything. It's hard for you to make a living and go to work.
Experts say this summer could drive gas prices much higher, with increased demand as consumers hit the road. The increased cost of living, leaving many wondering how they can afford the things they need.
Listen, Americans feel this. This is what real life looks like when they're trying to figure out how I'm going to buy groceries and all the different effects that they're actually feeling.
Americans now blaming President Biden and war in Ukraine for the rising costs. 40% of those polled in a new survey from Morning Consult and Politico said the president's policies were responsible for the high inflation.
Right now, we've got an administration whose plan is to blame anybody but them and their policies.
George Thomas, CBN News.
And CBN News financial editor Drew Parkhill joins us now with more on this. So in the story, George pointed out voters are blaming the president for high inflation. Are they correct to point the blame there?
Yes. Now, we would have had inflation anyway. I mean, there's the supply chain crisis and high demand coming out of the lockdowns and so forth. But when the president and the Democrats in Congress passed this $1.9 trillion bill last year, they were warned by Democratic economists, leading Democratic economists, this would lead to the highest inflation in a generation. That's exactly what we've gotten. We would have had some inflation anyway, but we have the highest inflation around the world, and it's because of that Democratic spending. So they took something that would have been a problem and made it a lot worse.
The Federal Reserve says it's going to keep raising interest rates to fight inflation. How high do you think the rates have to go?
They got a real problem. Because everybody talks about the Fed being behind the curve, meaning they're slow to act. Well, if inflation's running 8% now and interest rates are only at 3%, well, in order to stop inflation, you want to get interest rates above where the rate of inflation is. That means inflation or interest rates would have to go up above 8%. That's a long ways from where we are. Now, the hope is that inflation will come down. We'll see about that. But the Fed may have to put some real pain into the economy, and they know that.
Mm-hmm. Stocks took a big hit yesterday. Is there more pain to come?
Yes, I don't think we've seen the bottom yet. I think this is going to take a while. It's hard to really say how bad it could be. We could see the Dow go down another 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 points, for instance. It could go. I expect it to go under 30,000, and I've been expecting that. We're getting close to that now. So I don't think the worst is over yet.
Real quick, are Democrats going to feel political pain from the inflation come midterm elections?
Okay, so we've talked about businesses feeling the pain. We've talked about consumers feeling the pain. We've talked about the stock market feeling the pain. Right now, if the elections were held today, the Democrats would get wiped out, and their own internal polling shows this, that they're in very, very bad shape. So it depends on how the redistricting battle goes in the House, and that hasn't been settled yet. Mm-hmm. But we could be looking at the Democrats losing anywhere from 25 seats to over 60, and they could lose the Senate as well. So that would be pretty much the end of President Biden's agenda and overspending for sure. But yeah, they're in very bad shape, or the Republicans are in very good shape, depending on how you look at it. But inflation's the number one issue because it means your standard of living is going down because prices are going up.
Absolutely.